Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back to the show, everyone. I am Mike, your host, and we have another quarantine edition of Guest Speaker, and I am joined by a very special guest today. Cameron Iandolo is with us. Thank you so much for tuning in and being with us today, Cameron. We really appreciate it. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you, Mike?
Doing well. I'm excited to chop it up with you, man. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about, I think, today. So I'm pumped, man.
Yeah, like I said, I'm excited to be here and, humbled at for the opportunity. So thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. So how I kind of came across you, which is awesome. So one of the things that I love about, we were just talking a little bit off air about, you grinding as an artist and, us grinding as a podcast and whatnot. And we were talking a little bit about growth and numbers and things like that. And one of the things that I have just been harping on is, and I've mentioned this a bunch on the show, is I think they're building the relationships and really meeting some amazing people through this is like the most important and what I'll take away from it. And Zafir, he has been somebody that I have just really connected with, and he's become just a really good friend. And on top of just a dope artist. And when he reached out to me about you, and I was like, yeah, I'll check him out. And man, I'm like, I obviously should have trusted him because I was beyond impressed with what you've done. And so talk to me a little bit about, I know you guys go way back. So how has he been sort of like a good person to have in your circle? How has he sort of helped your growth?
Oh, I can't stand him. That guy, he sucks.
Isn't he the worst, dude?
He's the worst. No, yeah, Zafir is a huge part of what I do in the growth within the music over the past few years. I met him actually 2016 through some mutual friends, and the rest is history, pretty much, like brothers since then. So everything from knowledge about the game and everything that's going on, as well as mixing, mastering, just he has a solid ear for this. He's super talented. He keeps me grounded in a lot of certain situations and things like that. So he's definitely a big role. Definitely.
Yeah, no, he's, like I said, he's been somebody, he's been in this music scene in the game for a while, like you're saying, and it goes more than just, I think, the music aspect of it. It's how to build and how to network, and him and I have had so many conversations about that. People that have come in and out of his life and his vision, and he's just somebody that I like you said that I look up to, and somebody that really just is just really just there to help everyone else. I feel like that's just his nature. And so when he, like I said, when he reached out to us about you, I was just like, oh, this is awesome. So you are formerly from Malden as well, correct?
Yep.
And you're residing in Beverly right now. You're near my old stomping grounds, bro. I'm a Danvers boy at heart. So
okay.
So you're in my stomping grounds. So you've been making some music since the early 2010s, correct? I know you had a tape that came out early on in 2010s, and then you used to go by Cameron Janes. So tell me a little bit about why you chose to change your name to Cameron Iandolo, and the kind of what happened with that whole thing.
Yeah, that was something I thought out for a really long time. But to kind of make the long story short, my stepfather Armando raised me and my brother since I think we were 2 and 3 when him and my mother met. And he took us on as his own. And I don't want to bash my biological father, but I think just being young and doing just being young in general, just being out and doing different things, you make mistakes, and he really wasn't there for the majority of our lives. It wasn't really a thing where it was like a throwing a dig at him or anything. It was just more or less that you have this dude that just comes into our life, right? And he's with our mother, but he takes both of us on for, you know, the good and the bad. And I mean, you know, two broken kids, and he was there for everything. So it just kind of seemed right. That's just what felt right. And that's you know, we were raised by him, know his whole family, like that's who we are. So I think at the end of the day, I think the reasoning behind it is just he was there. And like I said, my biological father, we don't really talk to him, no malice or anything like that towards him. But I think it's just it was just the right thing to do, or it just seems that way. So
No, I mean, it's funny you actually say that, because I can actually relate to that quite a bit. You know, I know I just saw from your one of your old music videos, About to Break, where you talk a lot about being an older brother, and the same with me. Like, I'm an older brother to my two brothers as well, and I wouldn't say that my situation is as same as yours at all, but just in terms of like our family structure, like, yeah, we definitely had, you know, our issues with, you know, like my parents are divorced, and, you know, it just took a toll on, you know, my younger brother for sure. And my dad was in and out of the picture for quite a long time as well. So it's really just, and like you're saying, there's no real malice there anymore, but it's like you want to represent the person that has raised you and made you who you are. And I'm sure he appreciates that, and really understands that as well. So that's really, really dope, man. But I want to also like talk to you about that too, because with going back to the About to Break music video, so you made that song for your brother, and, you know, like I said, I'm an older brother too, so I can totally relate to like your sentiment of like almost helping really raise your brother, and making sure that he's okay. So like, how has well, first off, the song is amazing, and the
thank you.
video is very touching, just for me personally, because like I said, I can relate to it so much. So break down that no pun intended, break down that song and that video for me.
Yeah, thank you, by the way. A lot of thought went into that. It was just something that I think the timing was just right when I had found the beat and everything. I knew right off rip I wanted to do something with it. It didn't really have the idea. And it just so happened that my brother Kyle's been going through, you know, some things lately. I don't want to get too much into on the podcast, but as far as you know, mental health goes and everything like that, I think everybody struggles a little bit, and everybody can kind of relate and, you know, get the picture. So yeah, that song was just me trying to show him that, you know, I'm here, and that it's not the end of the world. And, you know, people get through things, people go through things, and there's light at the end of the tunnel at the end of the day. But I think the biggest thing was trying to show him that that I'm here, and that you know, he does mean something to everybody. And, you know, you gotta work through your issues. But I think, but the biggest thing was, it's kind of funny. He's the younger brother, but he mentored me through kind of the same thing when I was going through it years ago. And he was like on his grind, everything that I'm doing now. And not saying that he's not still doing that, but just in between going through things or whatever. But when I wasn't, and I was really in a dark place, he was the one banging on my door every day. You got to go to school. You got to, you know, you got to graduate. You got to do all this. So it's kind of funny to see, you know, the tables kind of turn around. And I just wanted to explain to him, because one thing he always says to me is like, how, like, you used to tell me like you look up to me and everything like that, like what's there to look up to? And I wanted to explain to him that just because you go through certain things, that doesn't mean that everything you were before, you know, none of that like, it doesn't get erased, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted him to understand that I still do look up to him. I still do appreciate everything. I remember everything, and it's a big part of, you know, who I am today, musically and all around. So
Sure.
yeah, I just wanted to give him something to make him see that, you know, we're all rooting for him and we're all in his corner. So
Well, I love what you just said too, because I feel the same way. Like I learn just as much from my younger brother, like helping him kind of both my younger brothers really, but more so my youngest brother Mark, where same thing. Like he had a lot of things going on in his his life when he was a lot younger, and I was somebody that was there to kind of help him along with my mother, but it's the same thing. You're right, because like I learned so much from him as well, and I learned more about myself. And I really do feel that I don't think I'd be a teacher, actually, believe it or not, if it wasn't for my younger brother Mark, because I kind of grew up helping him along when teaching him so many different things. And he was like, he was a sponge in that sense. He wanted to, like, especially with me and my other brother Anthony, like he wanted to kind of do whatever we were doing and learn about whatever we were doing. I was a huge like hoops player growing up, and he like wanted to be the exact same thing, right? And it just helped me to kind of understand, like, who I wanted to be as a person, right? And like, and again, same thing with me. Like, I was kind of the oldest of three with a single mom trying to raise three boys, and a lot fell on me, and just how it is, just is what it is. Like, as I'm being an older brother, like a lot ends up falling on your shoulders, but you learn
100%.
how to cope with. Yeah, exactly. But you learn how to cope with these things, like through the people that you kind of going through it with. And like, I leaned on the two of them, like just as much as they leaned on me. And if they don't know that, hopefully they know now, but like,
Yep.
it's, yeah, but so I love that you were able to kind of and put it out in a way that was like artistic, right? It almost was like, I don't want to say it was therapeutic for you potentially, but like in a way it probably was to make that
Oh,
in that video.
yeah, no, you're accurate 110%, because that is exactly what it is. And I think that I'm learning now, we learn new things every day. We're never going to be perfect, and that's just what it is. But I'm learning one thing that I'm learning now specifically is like, it's okay to feel, it's okay to, tell people you care about how you feel. And
Yeah.
I'm learning more and more that you should be doing that, opposed to the tough guy act of not saying anything, or just I don't say I love you, I don't, you know what I mean, just because it just goes to show, like, you're not comfortable in your own skin if you can't. So I think that's what I was struggling with for a long time. But I think musically is where I started to feel more comfortable in expressing these type of feelings, so it was definitely something therapeutic, and something that I could put more thought into than, just a simple text, or, while he was going through all these things, kind of just on the phone, uh,
Yeah.
kind of like we are now, just throwing random things out there. Like, I really sat and thought this out. So yeah, it was definitely therapeutic, and I enjoyed the process, to be honest, because, it was emotional, and I think I needed that. And obviously, um, he really was humbled by the video, and really holds it close to him. So I think we both kind of needed that.
Absolutely. I was about to ask you, like, what kind of was his reaction to like when he first saw it. I just wanted to point on one more thing you had just said too, because I think that you talked a little bit about like the masculinity piece to it, and I think when our fathers grew up, I think just the like that generation, it was so much more of like, you push that down, you push those feelings down. It's more of like you have to, you know, be a man, quote unquote, and you have to, be strong, and you're not really in tune with your feelings. It's more of a feminine thing. Like, I think the masculine and feminine thing was very much separated. To today, I just don't think it's as prominent in that. And we're seeing so many different outlets for not only just men, but like anybody, any gender, to be able to connect with other people that maybe feel the same way as them or going through the same thing as them, or on the flip side, like to be able to, like you said, just like to be able to put something out there and have it be like a therapeutic process. And I think it's at the end of the day too, like I said, like I just stumbled across you because of Zafir, but I already felt connected in your music, because when I've listened to it, because especially with the song like About to Break, because I can relate to a lot of what you're talking about. And these aren't really topics that I discuss with a lot of people, and I'm sure same thing as you, but I think you're going to help a lot of people to be able to connect to that. And I think that's going to be so important going forward. So I just want to commend you for that as well. But I want to
Thank
know.
you.
I want to know about his reaction though. So what was his reaction when he first saw it?
Yeah, so kind of like you were just saying, on the contrary to that, you know, the masculinity, and kind of like when our fathers were growing up, it was different times, and that was kind of the thing where you didn't show emotion like that. So um we're kind of the same way. And like I said, like I think we're both learning, and just trials and tribulations. But it was one of the first times, like, seeing him. I mean, he didn't break down, but like there was a couple tears shed, and it was like, yo, it was good to see that, and give my brother a hug and be like, yo, I love you at the end of the day. And this is, I think that was like groundbreaking for us. That was a groundbreaking moment. So it was like, um going back to what you were saying, I mean, it's one of those things where I understand both sides of it, in the sense that, oh, like it makes you look soft or things like that if you express your emotion um that way. But at the same time, I'm still the type that will smack the shit out of somebody if it comes down to it. So it's like, and I'm sorry for cussing, but
No. You can cuss on it. You're
cool, cool.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the type that, it won't run from confrontation if that's what it's going to be. So why should I compromise my feelings because someone's gonna, what are you gonna laugh? Like, if anything, like I said, like, I don't think you feel comfortable in your own skin if you can't show those emotions, right? I mean, it's just, so it's
I think
one of
it's
those
great.
things. But it was cool. It was cool to to um really soak that moment in with him, and see him kind of get out of his head a little bit. Because like I said, like, we all go through it. And
Oh, for
depression's
sure.
a serious thing, anxiety's real. And definitely definitely it's definitely a battle. So it was good to see him take that in and realize, like, and my sister was in the video, my younger sister, and her boyfriend, shout out Nelson, good kid, supports my music like crazy. He helped me shoot that whole video. So,
Wow.
everybody kind of coming together for him like that, I think meant a lot to him too. So I think, I think it was like an emotional roller coaster for that 3 minutes going through the song, but it was
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
enjoyable. And
Yeah, like you're saying, like, just such a good growing moment for all of you as a family. You know what I mean? And I think
yep,
that it'll be something that you guys can look back on. You all had a hand in it in some way, shape, or form, which is really cool. Like, you said your sister was a part of it, and being in it, and your sister's boyfriend helped create it, and then obviously it's about your brother. So like, you guys are all have that, to
yeah,
go on. So I think that that's really amazing, man.
thank
Um,
you.
yeah. So, so tell me a little bit too about, so that, for like you saying, all the trials and tribulations, you said that a couple of times. Take me back to, I know you dropped a mixtape a while ago that I don't know what you're too proud of, at least in the conversations we've had. So, Against All Odds. So tell me a little bit about that first mixtape.
Yeah, that record was like, I mean, it was extremely dope to do, just because it was the first product that I had put out, that I did everything with. Obviously, besides the beats and everything, but mixing, mastering, even though, like, it's not perfect, but like Zafir says, this is something like I live by now with the music, is that, coming up, we're still learning, right? So we're not putting out maybe what you would call perfect, but it's still your baby, because you work so hard on it. And
Yeah.
to see the CD in your hand and everything like that, or nowadays on all streaming platforms and everything like that, it's definitely a humbling feeling. So that was the first product that I really had my hands on, or with everything, you know what I mean? So setting up the studio, like I said, I've been trying to build this for years. So that was the first thing that I recorded myself, engineered, and kind of had full creative control over, because there was a time where I was working with a couple other artists, and as dope as it was, I think I kind of lost myself, in the sense that I wanted to go back to my roots. And I think the Against All Odds project, being my first solo tape and everything like that, really got back into, you know, what I enjoy, from storytelling to, you know, just my life in general and everything like that. Sometimes I listen to it, and I think every artist might do it after a certain amount of time. Sometimes I'll listen to it and be like, and that could have been better. You know, this could have been better. But at the end of the day, yeah, that was just me trying to put something out that represented me in the best way possible. And I wanted people to relate. So there was, you know, the Against All Odds single, which was kind of just, you know, letting people know you're not alone. Like, just like we were just talking about, like the depression, the anxiety, all of that. I wanted to touch on that and just let people know, you know, anybody who hears it, and anybody that it reaches, that, you know, more people go through the same things than you would think. And then there was a couple songs about, like, there was a song called Time Will Heal that I was sitting on for a while. Completely fiction, completely made up story, but, you know, could actually be someone's life situation out there where, you know, this girl's just going through it. Her boyfriend left her and all sorts of things. And you know, we sat on that for a little bit, and then I found another beat that was super similar, and it resonated the same. So it was kind of like a part two to that. And it was just that I got a lot of good feedback on that, just because, you know, a lot more people related than I even thought in the first place. So yeah, it was just, long story short, it was just a record where it was a lot of real life instances and things like that. So that's pretty much that project.
Yeah, but no, I think you said a lot of great things just now, and I think for anybody listening to this will kind of be able to understand, like, just because, you know, something isn't, I think regardless, at the end of the day, nothing that any of us do is going to obviously be perfect, and, you know, perfection is something that you're chasing that just doesn't, it's almost unachievable in a sense, and you know, I think constantly, like, our perception of what perfection is might change. At the time, it obviously made a ton of sense for you to do it. Looking back, I know you were saying, oh, you know, there's definitely some things I could tweak up and some flaws that here and there, but
Right.
that's all part of, like, the growth process that, you know, you and I have just been talking about this whole time. It's just like, it's so important to reflect and, you know, realize those things that, you know, you could possibly, you know, have done better. But on the flip side of that, you make, even if it's like, you know, you made a difference in like two people's lives throughout that mixtape, that's still two people that will take that with them, that piece of you, and are going to take that with them. And even if all of it's, you know, not real or it's not fiction, you still could, you know, reach people that are going through some of these types of things. And I think at the end of the day, you know, like I've said the same thing with our podcast, like, you know, you go back to our first episode and, like, it's not, you know, I mean, I'm proud of it in a sense, but it's almost the same thing as you. It's like, I was like, oh crap, like, I'm almost embarrassed that it's out there. But at the same breath, it's like you're able to see that growth. Like, if you look at your Against All Odds tape, right, versus, you know, your new single, What It Takes, that you just dropped in February, or any of your freestyles that you've been dropping, it's like, oh man, like, this dude not only was talking on some real shit in the first one, like, now he's even perfecting his craft in terms of the musicality of it, and he's getting better. You know what I mean? And that's really, like, and for you to look back on that's going to be, I think, important, you know, going forward. And I love that you're able to do that. I want to mention that too, because I find very unique. The one thing that's very unique about you is you don't have a ton in your catalog in terms of, like, you know, your, you know, streaming services and Spotify and whatnot, but you do a ton of these freestyle contests. So I wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit, like, talk to me about why you've chosen that platform to really, like, try to showcase your talent and really get your name out there. Like, what about these freestyle contests? I know you were in Jarren Benton's Bully Freestyle, and you made top 10 in the country, which is a huge accomplishment. And then you were in Millyz's Crawfish Challenge, and gave you some props on Instagram Live about that. So talk to me about those two in particular, and really and why you're choosing to kind of go the freestyle contest route versus just dropping singles.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for, checking everything out and, kind of,
Oh, you got it. I did my homework.
going through. Yeah. No, cause it's humbling for sure. But so thank you for that. But, yeah, I think the whole thing is really, it really starts with, I'm trying to rebrand, and I've been trying to do this for a couple years now. So I'll put something out. Sometimes I'll take it down, just because it didn't fit what I'm going for. And I think right now I'm kind of just molding it together and figuring it out. So in between that, to kind of, stay working and stay putting things out for people that actually do listen. I think the contests are huge, not only, like I said, just to keep putting out content, but it's bigger than putting out, just throwing out a song, because it's like, all right, cool. Throw out the song, even on a professional level, professional platforms, all of that. You're only going to reach so far right now. Like for someone like me who's kind of just coming up, not a lot of people know you, right? So
Sure.
why are they going to go stream your song? You know what I mean? You have to give them something to, be intrigued by, to make them want to go back and do their research. So, I think it's that, and then, it's opportunity. It's crazy opportunity. And, I didn't expect to do what I did with either of those contests, which was just it was the icing on the cake, because I just did it really to do it and push the pen a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely, it's opportunity. And I've met a lot of people just through the Jarren Benton contest, placing where I did and everything, which, shout out to him and his management and everybody that voted. But I actually did a record with the first place winner, New Kung, out in Canada, super talented. I recommend everybody check him out.
Okay.
But just building relationships like that too, like, because you have to realize how big these contests are, and how, they're global. So there's so many people that are seeing you that normally wouldn't. So I think that's mainly why I jump on opportunities like that as quick as I do. Based off the opportunity.
Well, first of all, like, both are dope. So anybody listening to this, go check these out. I'm sure and if you've seen little snippets in the promo video that we dropped this past week before, we released this episode. But definitely we'll link both of those in the bio of this episode too. So guys, make sure you go check out both of those freestyles from Cameron if you haven't, because they're the real deal. And I it's funny because I want to say it was the Millyz one. I can't remember. I'm getting them, I think, a little bit mixed up, but I think it was the Millyz one where you were recording. Some of the visuals were right off of I remember like driving by it in Malden, because my mom's from Malden too, so I kind of know the area a little bit. I think it was right off Route 1 or 99, like one of those convenience stores.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's significant. It's I try every video. I try to somehow sneak something in there that resonates with
who you are, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that one, a little easier, right? Just because it was kind of just bars, and I did talk a little bit of real life on it too. But that convenience store, me and my brother used to hang out at, drinking Monster Energy drinks, just punks, when we were 14. So it was just I grew up in that area of Malden. So I kind of I stuck around the area for the whole thing. And like I said, it's just especially for the contests, I think it's huge, because that's going everywhere, and a lot of people are going to see that. So I wanted to represent the hometown and everything.
Yeah.
Like that. Really, really stick to the basics, I guess, of where everything started. So
yeah, you didn't overthink it, you know what I mean?
It was just whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I even noticed too, I meant to ask you, because I noticed you even had a clip of like Northeast Volk basketball in there. So what was up with that? Because I have a buddy of mine coaches over there. So it's so funny that that you put that in. What was up with that?
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad you asked about that because I did want to actually speak on my youngest brother Nick as well. Um, so that was my younger brother Nick. That was his freshman year at the Northeast. Made the basketball team. I was stoked for him, so excited. He lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes, basketball, just like I do with the music. So it was just it's one of those things where it was a contest, and it was like, I should know my own bars, but I write so much, it's crazy. Where I placed it had significant, it was super relevant where I placed that clip because I'm paraphrasing right now, but I was talking about, you got to grab the opportunity or you're going to lose it. Like, I know I'm going to lose that. So, yeah, I put him in there just because he's working at it, hustling it.
Right.
He's down the YMCA every single day, hustling towards it. And it was kind of, like I said, like I wanted to touch on that a little bit. I think the biggest thing above all else, as far as me, wanting to make it or anything like that with this music, I think the biggest thing is just, I just want to show my little brother, like, hey, anything's possible with the work put in. Right. So, the contests, all that's super dope. And, whatever else comes with it. But I just want to show him that, with the work put in, you're going to make it happen. It's just, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You put in the work and that's what it's going to be. So I just wanted to, I wanted to touch on that a little bit, shout out to him. I'm proud of you, buddy. And, yeah, just keep putting in work and you'll make it, there's just, that's how I think. That's what I believe. So.
Yeah. How is he still in high school, your brother?
Yeah. Freshman year going into sophomore next year. So.
Sweet. So hey, probably. So it's funny. His coach is going to be my buddy. I think if he makes the JVs, he'll or hopefully makes varsity instead and jumps over. But
nice.
my
So you gotta put the word in for me.
I'll put the word in. I'll call Coach Kelly for you, and I'll tell him, hey, my boy Nick. Yeah. Yeah. So I was a huge hoops guy. I still coach now. I coach over at Andover High, where I teach. So yeah. So that's something that it's like I said, is a huge part of my my life and my just my persona. And people know me as just I was a junkie, basketball junkie, a lot like your younger brother when I was his age, man. That's all, like, I ate.
That's awesome, dude.
Slept basketball, dude. Yeah. Hey, if he when this quarantine thing's over, if he's looking for a trainer, I do one-on-one training, so I can even hook him up with that too. So we'll get that going.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely talk about that because, like I said, I mean, it's huge for him, and I could definitely tell, you're a hustler as it is workaholic, just like myself and Zafir and everybody. So yeah, I'll definitely have to get you two together.
Well, I know. Like I said, I just appreciate you've come on here and talked a lot about your family. Like, you just seem very family oriented, and you recognize that you want to put your family in a good spot, and I can totally just relate to that 100%. So, man, I love that. So I want to know a little more though. What was it like what was your reaction when you were in the top 10 with Jarren Benton and you're on Instagram Live with Millyz? Like, what were those two? I know you don't want to be satisfied per se with those moments, but like, what were those two moments like for you, like just to kind of soak in at the time, and even looking back now?
It was crazy, honestly. I mean, it was. I didn't expect to even make it on there, and so like Jarren's contest they were both different. So Jarren only posted his top. He posted his top 10. But when he announced the winner at midnight, he only named 5 other artists, including myself, that aside from the two first and second place, he named 5 other artists that he thought, were super dope, and that, yeah. So that was, I didn't even expect it. So it was super dope, super humbling, and I was just kind of like, I didn't dwell on it or anything like that. I was like, just more reason to work harder. I think people get that twisted sometimes. Like you get a little bit of notoriety or something like that, and then it's like,
I start
you know,
coasting a little.
yeah, you lose sight a little bit. For me, I really try to like. My fiance was like, you know, all hyped up. My brother was here. You know, her cousin was here. They're all hyped up. They're all coming down, flipping out. And I was like, yeah, like it's good. And like I was appreciative of it, and I'm soaking it in. But they're like, why do you seem like you're upset? Like I'm really not. I'm just like, now I gotta hit it harder. Like that's really all it is. And same thing with Millyz. But I think a little bit different just because we were on a not a call, but I was on his live, so we were speaking. I actually got to speak to him, and you know, I'm a huge Millyz fan, so it was dope to hear him. Like, I think his reaction, he was like, "Man, that shit was demon, bro!" Like, just like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I never even heard that term before, and I mean, like, I'm not, you know, my ears are to the streets and everything like that, but I just never even heard that term. So I was like, cool. Like, that was really, he was liking that. He was liking what he heard. So yeah, it was definitely dope. But like I said, you know, just that was another one where I was like, all right, cool. Like you got lucky with these two. Now let's see what's gonna happen next. You know, so I just try to train my mind to, you know, yeah, definitely count your blessings and you know, acknowledge them and appreciate them, but make sure you really lock in and hit it harder every time. So
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that. That's why I'm laughing, because I feel like, you know, people around me, it's kind of the same thing where like something big like that happens, and I'm more like, all right, well, let's, you know, I don't want to say I'm more focused on the next thing, 'cause that sounds wrong, but like I agree with your sentiment. It's like, you know, everyone else around you is like more excited than you are, and you're just kind of like, yeah, this is dope, but like this is not the end goal. You know what I mean? The end goal wasn't to be top 10 in Jarren Benton's, you know, competition. You know, it's
exactly.
the end goal.
No, you're 100%, 100%.
Yeah, I love that though. I think that's going to pay off for you in the long run, just in terms of like, you know, that hunger. I hear that hunger, and like a little bit of pain too, but I hear like that hunger and determination when you spit. Like I can just tell, and like,
Thank
you know, you have that like little bite to you where you're like, nah, like, you know, I might not be the best right now, but like I'm coming, like, and I'm coming, and I'm here to stay. Like I hear that in your voice. And you really, it seems to me like you really want to focus more on, like, it's crazy because your bars are very uplifting, but your delivery's very like rough around the edges in a way. So I think it has a nice contrast to it, but I really like how in a lot of your bars you talk more about like just being more like conscious and being part of more like the conscious hip hop scene, rather than, you know, talking about, you know, stupid stuff like trapping and drugs and just all this material items. So is that something like you pride yourself in, is like really talking on some real stuff instead of just like, you know, any of this fake crap?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm trying to find a balance in between the two. And I appreciate what you said because it's 100% accurate. It like my whole thing with this is I'm gonna do this till, you know, my dying day. 80 years old, like I'll probably still have a mic set up and still be doing it, you know.
I love that.
You know, if I ever blow up or not. But the on the other side of it, it's like, yeah, I love doing this? Absolutely. But it's a grind too, because I'm like, yo, like I was just talking about with my little brother Nick. Like, if you just keep putting that work in, consistency. Z always tells me this. Zafir always tells me that it's, you know, be consistent. You know, that guy always wins. That guy's always first. He says all the time, like, when he's not doing something musically because he's thinking someone it's crazy thinking, but I live by it now. And that, yo, shout out to Zafir again,
Dude, really, like
my older brother. I love the kid, like, for
his,
real.
his episode, and I've religiously said this since he's come on the show, his episode is probably one of the best in our catalog, and it is all, and I swear on my life, it's all a testament to him and like just the messages he has. like I get off conversations with him on the phone or even just like on text or whatever, and like I feel motivated after talking to him. Like I don't know, something about his energy that is just so infectious. And like you're totally right. Like he has those little like gem sayings. You know what I mean? He just pulls them out of, I don't know where he pulls them out, but
Yeah, like he hasn't slept. He hasn't slept since he was born. Yeah, all of it. And it's, but it honestly holds true. Like all jokes aside, I mean, he's constantly working. Like, and me and him are very much alike in that sense. So it's like we're super close. We're like brothers. Outside of it, you know, families, you know, gel together. Great, everything. Like he's close with my family. Same with his. On my end, but we just can't help ourselves every time we talk to end up, it always ends up business and doing something. But going back
yep.
to what I was saying, he was like, he said to me one time that it bothers him. And like this is why I laughed, because like it makes it funny only because he's driving, I'm in the passenger seat, and he's just looking straight at the road, and he genuinely looks sad, and he's like, man, he's talking super low. He's like, it bothers me because I'm like, right now I'm doing this, and this, but someone across the world is in the studio right now. And,
Mhm.
you know, I'm not working, and that means they're working harder than me. And he can't accept that feeling. So it's funny, but it just goes to show, like, that's the hustle. And I mean, he trained me on that. So it translates in everything I do. And it's just super dope, you know? So
Yeah. It's so good to have people like that in your corner. You know what I mean? And just, and people like that you can draw from and fall back to, especially when, you know, you feel maybe like a day you're unmotivated, or you feel like you're not doing enough. Then it feels like, you know, I mean, I like I said, that's why I think that even like you and I are hitting it off, obviously, on this, or at least I hope you
yeah, for sure.
so
No, definitely.
trying to read the room, but no, I'm
Yeah.
only kidding. But no, same thing with him. It's like we hit it off big time too, because we have he and I have the same mentality, obviously, and you clearly do too. It's different in the sense because like our our dreams or our ambitions are definitely, or the mediums we're kind of going by it are different. Obviously, like I have different goals than you guys do. Obviously, you guys are artists, so your day to days and what you're doing is different. But I mean, you know, and not to like, you know, pat myself on the back or anything like that, but he's absolutely right. Consistency is huge. And like, when you're not, we've only gained and grown because we've been consistent, because I've been consistent with this. Like,
It's different. Like, yeah, like I'm an artist, and but it doesn't matter. Like it all translates. It's all the same. You know, we're doing different things, but the work and the time is still the same. You know, I'm up all night mixing a song. You know, you're up all night doing research and, you know, setting these things up. And I mean, that's difficult in itself. And there's way more to it that I don't even have knowledge about. So,
yeah,
you know, yeah, 100%. So like, I think it's really just hard work at the end of the day, dedication. It's become a grind for me, and it's become something bigger than that. And I'm just like, you know what, if I can put my family in a better situation,
yeah,
and yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna work towards that. Do
absolutely.
I am I the dude that's like, yeah, I'm gonna make it tomorrow, and trying to be, you know, extremely humble about it. And I'm like, you know, I know that, you know, it's a hard industry to break into. I have conversations about it all the time. It's in my head all the time. But I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be putting this work in either way because I love doing it. So why not just, you know, add that extra spice to it, you know, that kind of I forget how you worded it, but that kind of, you know, bite to it when, you know, yeah, like I like putting out songs like the Against All Odds project for sure, because that's my roots. Like I want to be relatable. I want to say something that might make someone feel better because they're having a tough day, because that's what I enjoy listening to. And I enjoy listening to people um who speak about things like that, because I'm like, cool, like you're like, you relate to me. And I think that builds a relationship between the consumer and the artist, right?
Oh, for
So,
sure.
but
Yeah,
I think in hip hop, it's like there's conscious rap, and then, you know, there's I don't want to necessarily say this stuff on the radio, but, you know, kind of talking about money and girls and, you know, things like that, which is
It's the
cool. Yeah,
mainstream sounding stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
In
So
topic.
I want to do both, and I want to be able to, you know, showcase my talent in the sense of what I want to do, the relatable stuff and everything like that. But I also want to show off the fact that, like, I'll jump, you know, in contests and do it with the best of guys who are, you know, battling for the top spot with Jarren Benton and guys like Millyz. Like, they're hard hitting lyricists, actually, you know. And
Yeah.
I know that I'm not, like, I stay in my lane. I'm not the most lyrical dude, you know, or anything like that. There's so many people better, but at the same time, I feel like I gauge it pretty well, and I know you know, what I'm trying to say when I get on record, whatever it is. So I'm trying to find that mix between both. I want to give those hard hitting bars, but I want to start, you know, making those catchy hooks, like making songs, you know what I mean? Like, you could do the bars all day and people are like, that's dope, but are they going to bump it in their car, like
True.
on the way to work in the morning? Like, you know what I mean? So things like
Absolutely.
that. So I want to find both, you know, find a lane for both.
Yeah, finding that balance. And then I think when, no, and I appreciate you kind of coming on here and saying, you know, I haven't figured that out quite yet, but this is the process. And like, I think I have the bar thing kind of down. I mean, maybe I'm not the best lyricist, but I'm killing these freestyles, but now I have to almost translate that into song making. And you're absolutely right, where like you don't want to box yourself in. You don't want to be the artist that everyone remembers as just like, oh yeah, that was the freestyle guy. Like, you don't want to be that. You want to be like, oh yeah, Cameron Iandolo, like, he could freestyle, he could make craft good songs and all that. So I think you're doing it all right, man. And, you know, you're so humble, but don't sell yourself short either. Like, it's like you have these innate abilities and capabilities, and you've shown it. So just continue. Like, and I totally like appreciate you, showing us love and appreciation for all this too. And just like, I guess the sentiment for all of this is like, you know, you just got to grind and hope and pray to God that it's going to work out at some point. And if it doesn't, you can look back on it and say, you know what, I gave it every single, you know, opportunity, and I gave it every single, just all the effort I could give into it. And, you know, when you and I are, you know, in our rocking chairs, when we're 80 and, you know, we got kids and grandkids, we can be like, hey, this is what, you know, and regardless of whatever ended up happening, you'd be like, hey, this is what I did. And maybe it didn't work out, but you have to push yourself too. And if you do, like, you know, you could, you know, be successful or create your own. I hate when, like, I think we all have to kind of sit back and sort of understand what our individual definition of success is, because I think that, like, I think people think success, they think it comes with like some kind of monetization or sort of like gaining something in return, some kind of something with money or whatever, right? But that's not necessarily what success always needs to be. So I think that, you know, I think you're going about it the right way. You have the mentality. I mean, just everything you've talked about, you know, on today's episode has just been, like, I think super uplifting and motivational. I think anybody listening to this that's a fan of us that doesn't know Cameron Iandolo, and I think that, you know, you coming on here and sharing all of this, it's really going to resonate with people that listen to this. So people listening, if you are not a fan of this man yet, you have to go check out his stuff. And this is a guy to watch out for in the next coming years. I assure you. And same, if you've heard Zafir's name, if you've been a fan of our show, you already know that the cosign is there. So Cameron,
Yeah.
dude,
And if you,
thank you.
no, thank you. Seriously. I mean, I really appreciate it. Means a lot to, you know, be on the show and actually, you know, get to connect and talk a little bit, you know. For those who don't know, I just got to throw it out there. You can find Zafir at officially Zafir.com. Because that's
Our people
that's
know
his
about
catchphrase. Yeah, that's his catchphrase, and I just had to throw it out there. But
yeah.
no, I mean, it's like, I appreciate you having me on here. You know, if there's anything I could say to the people, it's don't judge me on the interview. Just let them use. I like to let the music speak, because you could tell I'm an awkward dude. But this is this was dope, and I wanted to do this and, kind of explain who Cam is outside of, what you hear on the mic. So yeah, I really appreciate you having me, dude.
Oh, of course, but I think at the same time it all intertwines, man. Because and like you said, I think it's so you've been so transparent with us this whole time, and I like I said, I can't thank you enough for that. But like you're saying, oh, I'm an awkward dude. One, I don't think you're awkward, but I think it's more or less like maybe like this isn't a comfortable thing for you to do, right? Potentially is come on and talk about yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's difficult. So, not everybody is into that, but you're stepping out of your comfort zone, right? And that is really in itself of a really like important lesson for anybody, right? Is like step out of your comfort zone and you make good things happen. And this now, you got us in your corner now, man. So we will push you as far as we can, and as far as you can take yourself. So
Yeah, yo, likewise, honestly. I mean, and we'll talk after this anyways too, but anything I can do, I'm there, you know what I mean? So
bro, we'll get you and Zafir in here. We'll do a little round table in the studio once this whole stay at home thing is lifted and whatnot. We'll get you guys in here, and we'll have like a nice little round table discussion. I think that would be super dope. So
you'll definitely get some laughs going in that.
Oh, that's why the thought process there was like, oh, we got to get these two in here, so together.
I talked to him this morning, and he's just like, because we're talking about what we're gonna do today as far as we're looking at merch and things like that. We got to put some orders in and master a record that we're gonna be dropping soon. But all this dude says, Cam, you're trolling. Cam, you're trolling. Like, I'm not trolling all the time, but that's something for another episode. And I think I think everybody, including yourself, will get a couple laughs out of it. So I'm looking forward to doing that for sure.
I can't wait, dude. I have one more question for you before I let you go.
Surprise question.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. All the time you've given us today. I do have one question I ask all artists that come on this show, minus Taha. I am so sorry, Taha. I need to apologize. I didn't ask him this question. He's like the only one I've never asked this. You are in the studio, okay? Whatever studio, your own, wherever, right?
Yep.
Anywhere. And you can create a song, okay, with anybody, okay? And this is the structure I usually lay out, all right? You can create, I call it your dream song scenario, all right? It's yourself. You get one verse on a track, all right? You get 2 guest verses, you get a guest producer, and you get someone to do the hook. So who is on that song and what does it sound like? So again, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, so take a minute if you want to think about it. So you get a verse, again, you get 2 guest verses, you get someone to do the hook, and you got a producer.
Oh man, yeah, that's super dope question. I'm gonna need a minute to think, but right off rip, I know it might sound cliche, but
dead or alive too, by the way, can be anybody.
Hell yeah, even better. Right off rip, I'm gonna say Dre. I want a record produced by Dre.
Nice.
I think, yeah. Give me a second because I feel like I was thinking about something like this not too long ago.
Take your time. So we got Cameron Iandolo, we got Dre on the boards. All right, so that's good. We need 2 guest verses. We need a hook.
I gotta put Drake on the hook.
Drake on the hook. I like that. I think he'd sound. I would be interested to see how he would sound over like Dre production.
You know what I'm saying, and that's why I'm a big fan either way, but I think it kind of that kind of resonates in what I was saying earlier. Like, I'm trying to find the balance. I like the bars and everything like that, but I also like want to hear that new school kind of
give modern appeal to it, right? Like that.
Yeah. So like, all right, like you said, like Drake on a Dre beat, that would be something we haven't heard, and it's I can guarantee you it'd be fire. So all right, yeah. So we got Drake on the hook, produced by Dre. I gotta throw Kendrick I gotta throw Kendrick on a verse.
Oh, nice.
Huge Kendrick fan. And man, I think, and I might regret this later because I'll think of someone else or something like that. But I gotta say, I wanted to hear Joyner and Kendrick, and I'm sure it's gonna happen at some point. But I just Joyner on a Dre beat would just be insane. And yeah, I'd like to see them too.
Wow. I like that. Even, you know, what would be cool too if like even on a verse, the two of them kind of like going back and forth, like trading bars. I feel like that would be super dope because they both
insane.
bit crazy. Did you like the new Joyner album, by the way? You a big Joyner fan?
Yeah, yeah, I really enjoyed the album a lot. Yeah, definitely a big fan of him. The only thing is I was like, yo, I was so excited for this project. I'm like, you gave us damn near the whole thing, bro.
Dude,
Before,
I was having this conversation with my barber because he's a big
yeah,
Joyner fan too. Because he was like, when you really come down to it, there's only 5 new tracks, like because we've heard 9 of them already, right? So it was like,
yep.
I hear you on that, man. Like, I don't know if I agree with that strategy, but I mean, as a whole, like, it's a good project. I agree with you. I just wish it had been like we got maybe like two or 3 singles instead of like 9.
Yeah, and they were all 5. Was it 5 that we got on the album that we hadn't heard yet?
Just
Yeah,
5,
they were
yeah,
all fire. They were all
great.
super dope.
Especially that song "Will," like, and I know that he just dropped the remix with Will Smith.
That was insane too.
Dope.
I mean, I know. I mean, Will Smith has been doing. Like, he's a pioneer of what hip hop is. But just to hear him kind of like that's what that kind of goes back to like what I was saying as far as having Dre on production and then put someone like Drake on a hook. It was hearing Will Smith actually adapt to the times. Like he not only did he adapt to the times, but like he had Joyner's flow and he was killing it. But he was saying like everything he said it was amazing. I was blown away by that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Hey, another Massachusetts guy who, like I said, looked up to Will Smith as a kid, and look at this now. He's got Will Smith on. That's just like a testament to, you got a dream, chase that shit, and like you just never know what's gonna happen, man. You know what I mean? So like someday, Cameron Iandolo featuring Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and Joyner Lucas with some Dre production, that could let's speak it into existence. I swear to God, man. Like I was talking about this with some of the people that had on. It's like if I could have the dream scenario songs with everybody we've hopped on and like put them on a Turntable Teachers album too, like I feel like it would just be like
that would be
only in our only in our dreams at the moment, but
right.
I'm speaking it into existence.
Dude, that's exactly what it is, and we keep talking about it. We keep working as hard as we're working, and it's gonna happen. I want to say though, because Mr. Zafir, like he goes into his feelings like Drake. I would want you on that record, dude. I just wanted to like you know what I'm saying. But yeah, man, that would be super dope. And one other thing I want to say about Joyner, like, is he actually is super humble. I don't know if you knew me and Z were in the video for Lotto.
Right. I forgot about
which was just like totally kind of right timing. Like, we don't know Joyner or anything like that, but he called me one Sunday morning, and I was just like you, I'm sure, like I'm constantly working. So up all night last night, mixing, working. So I'm like, I wake up this Sunday morning and he's calling me like 3 times. I call him back and he's like, yo, you rolling? Where I'm coming to grab you right now. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going anywhere today because like I gotta just chill, work Monday morning. He's like, all right, so you're not gonna come to join his video shoot. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yo, just put on all black. He's like, and I'll be there in 15 minutes. I'll tell you the details in the car. So
wow.
He came, and sure enough, yeah, we went to Project 2 Studios in Manchester, and we got to chop it up with those guys a little bit, and Joyner came and introduced himself. But like, I just going back to what I was saying, like he was super humble, and it was like for a dude that you know, really didn't have support, kind of like all of us in this area and coming up and everything. You know, you'd figure he'd have his nose stuck so far up in the air that like you wouldn't even, you know, want to talk to him. But
Right.
he came up, shook everybody's hand. Thanks for being here. This is what I need you to do. And he actually invited us to the next scene after, and we got to chop it up with them. So that was a super dope experience. But yeah, I root for Joyner all day, just because not only because, you know, he's from Boston, or Worcester rather. I don't like when people mix that up, but yeah, like yeah, he's a super humble person, and it was a dope experience all around. But I
That's
throw
so
that
cool.
out there.
That's dope. I'm no, very, very glad that you mentioned that, because I didn't realize you were there too, because I completely forgot. Zephyr, I want to say he put it on his Instagram not that long ago.
Yeah, I think it was about a month ago or something like that.
I remember him seeing that and talking to him like about it very briefly, but I didn't realize you were there too. So that's dope that you guys both got to be there for that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. It was just another one of those things where like I knew when people saw the video, like people would share it and be like, you know, people that know me or whatever,
Sure.
are gonna share it. But it was just another one of those things. People were like hitting me up like, yo, like you must be in with Joyner and all this. And aside from that, it was more like you like I don't think anyone understands enough. Like I can't say it enough that like, yes, definitely celebrate like things like that. But I mean, you know, stay focused. You can't sit and celebrate forever. And the other thing, people are like, yo, why didn't, like, you should be on a song with him now. Like, you should have handed him your demo. I'm like, that is exactly what you don't do. Like, you might as well pull up there and act like you don't even know who that person is. Because when you start acting like a fan like that, or not even a fan, but, you know, trying to get on from what they're doing, like, people think like it's a cheat code to, just because you got in contact with someone who's doing it, like you try to get on like that, and it's so frowned upon. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's one quick. I agree. It's one quick way to just kind of turn somebody off, like,
yeah,
especially that, because it's something you probably get all the time. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, it's there's a time and a place for all that. You know what I mean? So
yep,
you were helping him out, of course.
for sure.
So being there for him. So, and it was probably just, like you said, an awesome experience. So, boy.
Yep.
Cameron Iandolo, people, make sure you follow him on Instagram at Cameron Iandolo. We will make sure we link all of that in the description as well. Follow him on Spotify. Bump his new single, "What It Takes," which I'm enjoying. I think it's a really good one. We're gonna throw that on the playlist pretty soon in one of these upcoming Instagram live sessions, or if we haven't already before this releases. So
I
make
appreciate
sure
that, brother.
oh, for sure, for real. And we appreciate you, man, coming on here and being not only so transparent, but just like incredibly humble and incredibly insightful. And I think whoever listens to this is going to get a lot out of it, no matter what they want to pursue in life, whether it's music or podcasting or, you know, hoops or any kind of, or anything really, business, you know, doctor, whatever you want to be, guys. Like, I think the sentiment today has just been keep pushing at it. It's going to put, you know, if you put in the work, even if it doesn't work out, you know, you can at least look back on it and have no regrets. And I think that is really like the biggest sentiment for today. So Cameron, man, thank you so much, man. This was so dope to chop it up with you, and can't wait to connect really soon and get, like I said, get you and Zephyr in here as soon as we can. So
Definitely.
thank
Yeah,
you so much,
I'm definitely looking
guys.
forward to that.
Me too. So make sure you follow this man on Instagram, stream his music, and check out those freestyles for him. And yeah, and guys, make sure you follow us if you're a fan of Cameron and not a fan of us yet. Get with the team. Follow us on Instagram at Turntable Teachers. Hit up our website www.turntableteachers.com for all the latest blogs, merch, and episodes. We have more quarantine editions, guest speakers coming really soon. We have 2 that are already released with Taha and Jay Faith. So make sure you check out those 2 other really amazing conversations as well. Cameron, thank you again so much. We appreciate it. And I'm Mike. This is Cameron, and class is dismissed.
Turn to the